Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Energy News Beat Daily Stand-Up. My name's Stuart Turley, President and CEO of the Sandstone Group. It is absolutely a lot of fun on the news desk today. We've got stories like you wouldn't believe. Let's start with Trafigura. Iran sanctions are the biggest bullish catalyst on oil prices. You gotta love that. President Trump is at it again. Restarting Germany's nuclear reactors. This is a story from Doug Sandridge's Energy Remuneration Substack, and he's absolutely a hoot. He's dead on right. The SEC moves to scrap costly climate disclosure rule amid legal battles. Assault on American sovereignty. Red state officials urge Trump to probe EU's corporate climate mandates. Holy smokes, we're really rolling. And then just the last one here, China's huge LNG-powered truck fleet continues to expand. We need to possibly learn from China on a few things. Let's get started here with Trafigura. Iran sanctions are biggest bullish catalyst on oil prices. The head of trading U.S. foreign policy vis-a-vis Iran is the main upside for risk for oil. I couldn't agree more. It's going to take a lot of oil because President Trump is serious about enforcing his sanctions. 2 weeks ago, President Trump's first sanctions against Iran targeted 3 vessels carrying Iranian crude to China. The sanctions affected 1 VLCC and 2 Aframaxes that the Treasury Department said moved more Iranian oil to China. They also targeted several entities and individuals across different countries. I guarantee you that President Trump is going to decimate the Iranian oil through sanctions. And what that means is when OPEC can't control a lot of their market, I believe President Trump can. So I believe it's going to be pretty interesting on that. Let's take a look at restarting Germany's nuclear reactors. Germany is a failed state from the standpoint, let me rephrase that. The Green New Deal won, so they have totally deindustrialized Germany into a fiscal major issue. Germany shut down its last 3 nuclear reactors April 15th of 2023, and Doug Sandridge wrote this article. It is absolutely a fantastic article going through the whole process of what they've done to become green energy, which is an oxymoron when you shut down your nuclear, which is the ultimate green energy of not having any net zero output. When you take a look at its energy crisis manifested after that, then the wind fell out. 20 years of poor energy policy finally manifested itself into full-blown crisis upon Russia's unexpected invasion. And I'm glad to see that that invasion may be stopping here pretty soon. As a nuclear influencer, Mark Nelson has long advocated to restart some of the German nuclear power plants. As the founder of Radiant Energy Group and a nuclear energy professional, Nelson has aspired to provide a feasible study on how to make it feasible again. By 2028, 3 reactors could be restarting, adding 4 gigawatts of capacity. If decommissioning stops now and rehiring begins, Brokoff could resume operations as early as the end of 2025 with swift legislative action. This is really huge. Restarting any number of Germany's nuclear power plants would be impactful within a short period of time at relatively low cost. You cannot beat this kind of energy that to have sitting there and you're in the process of decommissioning is just plain dumb. Hats off to Doug Sandridge and well done on the article. Let's go to the next story here. The SEC moves to scrap costly climate disclosure amid rule and legal battles. If lawfare isn't enough, we're going to have a lot of kind of interesting things. Security and Exchange Commission appears ready to quash the controversial climate disclosure rule, which will end the legal challenges that have been dropped on it. Emphasis and the links are in the story. This story is from Just the News. The cost of the disclosures would have been passed down to consumers. So these legal lawfare and everything else that the climate activists are doing are being passed on to you, the consumers. So when you see that USAID has been funding all of these protests and you see all of these things that you think is a movement, but it's actually a bunch of people out there getting paid, that's going to be passed on to you, the consumer. The rule would also impact non-public companies. For example, a small entity contracting with a publicly traded company may have to account for its greenhouse gas emissions that actually it cannot. So that's like a small gas pumping station having to track all the gas emissions from cars. That doesn't make any sense. So, pretty good article there. Assault on American sovereignty. Red state officials urge Trump to probe EU's corporate climate mandates. This is just another mess. 26 officials from 21 states wrote to President Trump on Tuesday, urging him and his administration to review the policies, the same ones that we're visiting in the previous article. But this one is Selection 301 investigation is a tool that the USTR can use under the Trade Act of 1974 to seek recourse and relief from other countries' violation of trade deals, which is a big difference, and actions and unreasonably hurt American commerce. In his first month of office, this is a quote, President Trump has kept his promises to the American people in eliminating the rot that is ESG and woke capitalism from our institutions, but there's more to be done. These ESG-obsessed climate cartels will not stop pushing activist agenda on Americans until President Trump policies are adopted by institutions. This is very critical. A great article. Before I get to the last story here, natural gas is really, really important. And we want to give Steve Reese and the Reese Consulting Group a shout out. They're a sponsor of the Daily Energy News Show, and I just really appreciate them. If you are in the oil and gas space and you're buying or selling natural gas or trading it, we want you to reach out to them. The link will be in the show notes. And Reese Consulting, you definitely would save money by getting in touch with them. They are very good at what they do. So let's go to the last story here. Speaking of natural gas, it seems that electrification of electric vehicles is not going to happen because we can't even get out of, I believe it was $7 or $8 billion. We got 9 charging stations. You cannot get enough charging stations. It's just the technology's not there. China's huge LNG powered truck fleet continues to expand. This is just a short little article, but Shell released a graph showing that China's LNG powered truck fleet is expected to double between 2020 and 2030 as it replaces diesel with LNG. Hats off to China. We can learn a thing or two from China because China looks at things in decades. And even though they print money and it is a communist kind of a country, they have really taken the United States and the West to task and are beating us at a lot of the commerce game. So LNG powered trucks for long haul or compressed natural gas, I believe either one of those would be a much better solution than fully electric trucks because they would have less impact on the environment than diesel. So, we've got to sit back and take a look at that and say, wait a minute, it would be easier to put in LNG and compressed natural gas charging stations than it would be to put in electric charging stations and batteries. And it would be a lot cheaper because it is an internal combustion engine and can be modified. Huge difference. Anyway, so let's go on and thank you very much for subscribing, like, share, read this to your family, read this to your pets, and we sure appreciate everybody. Have a great day.